Great example. Hey, let's, I want to start to wrap up, but I wanted to get a couple more. You're on fire, by the way. I love that. All right. I want to get a couple more of those questions because you've actually thought those through and we were going through the pillars. So are there any others that you find that are very
Here's a
powerful?
question. I'll give you a question. I'll give you a really important one. This will might even take up the whole time, but it's so powerful. Okay. Under clarity. Okay. I will argue the three most important questions that drive strategic clarity, that actually take an idea to an action, are not the why. Now, the why is important part of strategy. The why is important to have purpose. It is important. It is. It's critical.
How?
Exactly. The who is important.
Yeah.
But the most important, underused, overlooked questions that actually drive strategic clarity are these three. Number one is how. Number two is more important.
Yeah.
How. And number three is how. What do I mean? You've got to get used to asking how at least 3 times. You've got to take an idea to an action. And that final how gives hope. And we ask how until we can actually apply it today or tomorrow. And you always can. We've done this with the biggest companies in the world. We've done it with global governments. How. So, I mean, I remember this once with a big company, second biggest healthcare organization, I think, in North America. And they said 7 years later, this process was the tipping point of their organization that everybody listening would know. But I remember it. We're at a private location. The senior leadership team, 100 people or so, they said, David, we're losing HCAP funding. We're losing patients. We're losing all this stuff. We got to do something. I said, the senior leader, after a bunch of work on trust, I said, what do you actually want to change here? In front of everybody. And he stood up and he said, well, we need a better culture. We're dying. I said, great. How are you going to start to have a better culture? And he sat down and talked to his team and he stood up and he said, we're going to start with clarity. That's your first pillar, right? I said, great. That's a good idea. I said, how are you going to start to be more clear? He sat down and talked to his team. He stood up and said, we're going to communicate more. Do I trust him? Not for a second. I said, how are you going to do that? We're going to hold people accountable. You don't know what you're talking about. I said, great. How are you going to hold people accountable? How? Until he could do something starting today or tomorrow. It's like the weight loss thing I had. It was like, everybody said, eat less, exercise more. That's too vague. Until I came up with hows one example is not going to drink a calorie. So on the plane, instead of ordering a Coke, ordered a Fresco or a water. Oh, no calorie. I can apply it today or tomorrow. How? Until you can apply it. That final how gives hope.